All right. Aloha and apologies. Aloha and welcome to tonight's board meeting. With the pounding of the gavel, we will get started at 7 o'clock and 59 seconds, 7:01. We will begin with the rules of speaking provided by Board Member Trey Gordon.
Right. Aloha. This is your community public forum. Your input and cooperation are appreciated. The Evan Neighborhood Board is an advisory board, and we provide fairness, integrity, and collaboration to all to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise their hand, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 1 minute, one turn per person. Those giving reports are urged to keep their reports less than 3 minutes and presentations under 10 minutes. Please silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Thank you, Trey. Following this, we will have introduction to board members. It's kind of sparse tonight. I think a couple of people may be on vacation or something like that. We'll begin at the far right. Trey, if you would start.
Hello, I am Trey Gordner, your board secretary now, I believe.
Hello, I'm John Rogers.
Aloha, Alexander Gauss. Thanks, everyone.
Aloha, my name is John Clark III, and I am the board chair. We will begin with public safety first responder reports. Oh, Corey just came online, I guess. Corey?
Aloha, Corey Rosenley.
Thank you, Corey. So with that, we have 5 members present. All right, we have 5 members present. I do want to remind everyone that this board requires a 6-member quorum before we can act on any official business. So there may be a point, if we don't have another board member come on board within the next couple of minutes, we won't be able to do any major board business. So we just have a few things that we will have to shift a little bit. With that, we'll start with public safety first responder reports. Honolulu Fire Department.
Hello, good evening. My name is Firefighter Brian Rooney with Devon Beach Fire Station, and I would like to read some of the statistics for the month of July. So in the month of July, we had 1 structure fire, 13 wildland brush fires, 3 nuisance fires, which consist of fires including rubbish fires outside of a structure or vehicle, and 11 activated alarms with no fires. For emergencies, we had 185 medical alarms, 8 motor vehicle crash collisions, and 1 hazardous materials incident. Our fire safety tip is back to school fire safety. Educating students on what they can do to stay safe during the school year is important and often overlooked. College students living away from home should take a few minutes to ensure that they are living in a fire-safe environment. Don't overlook outlets. Keep lamps, light fixtures, and light bulbs away from anything that can burn. Never use an extension cord with large appliances like a refrigerator. Cook only where it is allowed. Keep the cooking area clean and free of anything that can burn. If a fire starts in a microwave, keep the door closed and unplug the unit. If a disaster happens, knowing who to call and where to meet is an important part of emergency planning for you and your family. Pick 1 main contact locally and 1 contact out of town who may be easier to reach during a disaster. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Comments from the board? Corey, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Thank you, Corey. Any questions from members of the community? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Stay safe. Moving on, Honolulu Police Department.
Good evening, Chair, board members, members of the community, Corporal Pig with the Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing Team. Sorry I wasn't able to be there in person. Something personal came up I had to kind of deal with and was running late. I do have your stats for July. In July, we had 28 motor vehicle thefts, 13 in our area, 18 burglaries, 5 in our area, 174 thefts, 50 in our area, 39 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 15 in our area. There were issued a total of 411 citations, 6,615 calls for service, 1,706 in our area. The only other thing I wanted to bring up is, board member Rosalie asked about the fireworks calls and the difference and stuff like that. So what I was able to find was in 2022, throughout the district, we had 1,983 calls for service. In 2023, we had 1,516 calls for service. Year to date in 2024, we've gotten 478 calls for service within the district. So that goes from EVA to YNI. So it does look like it's going down from the last 2 years. So we'll see how this year ends and we'll go from there. But other than that, I'm open to any comments, questions, or concerns. And I'm sorry, I did forget to mention that Lieutenant Carrera as well as Sergeant Moroka is also online with me today.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Any comments or questions from the board? John Rogers?
Hey, Officer Pagan, thanks for being here. You know what I'm going to ask. So, and I just want to keep on bringing this up in public until we get some kind of resolution, even something small. But, you know, on March 24th this year, a 75-year-old James Rowland and his partner, 62-year-old Naomi Meyer, were killed in a crash at the intersection of Fort Weaver and Iroquois Road by a 20-year-old man. So since then, this is March, it's now August. We have not heard anything. There's nothing that I can find in the paper that even gives any kind of resolution to what's this going on. And I know I'm not doing this to you. It's nothing personal. It's just bringing it up in public that we should have some kind of answer by now. At least it was reckless driving. We don't even know the name of the gentleman who did this. And I just, every time I think about this, I just think of my wife and I who ride bikes on Fort Weaver. We could have been those two people. And so it just hurts me inside to know that there's no resolution with this. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for that. I do understand. I appreciate you clarifying that you're not attacking me for it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk to the sergeant again. Last time I talked to him, he said they are working on things. It does take a little bit longer. I can go and try to find out what kind of information they will provide should something happen. Because again, you know, as we all have seen before in the past, the news will report the incident, but they never tend to do the follow-ups. So if there is information that's being put out and they're not broadcasting it, I'm not sure if, well, I know the police department doesn't just call people and tell people, hey, just in case you were worried or wondering, this is what happened. So it's one of those public notice types of things. So I'll go see what I can get from the traffic division and I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Any other questions from board members present in the meeting room? Okay. Corey?
I just want to say thank you, Officer Pagan, for that data points on the fireworks. That is enlightening. You know, it is good to see that there's some progress being made. I know that doesn't help people when someone wants to do fireworks at 3 a.m. in the morning next to them, but it's good to see that there's at least some progress being made. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any comments from members of the community? I have one quick related question. At last month's meeting, Corporal, the statistics, we had them in front of us, but since you couldn't be here tonight, we don't have them in front of us. I noted that the speeding citations were trending up, which when you consider John Rogers' comments that to some residents that may not seem like it's a good thing, you know, because more people are getting tickets, but I believe that's actually a good preventative measure. How does the trend look with regard to speeding citations or moving violations?
Sad to say that they did go down last month. Again, like I said, the month before we had the government grants that were pushing officers to go out and work overtime to go do some enforcement and stuff like that. Now that we're kind of back to status quo, it's a matter of the officers finding time to do that enforcement as well as being visible. So yeah, unfortunately we show 11 speeding citations issued, 187 moving citations. So yeah, it is quite a drop from last month.
What was that 11? Because it seems like last month it was quite a bit higher than that. So what was the figure for speeding?
Last month was 50. This
50.
month was 11.
So that's what 80%.
But again, like I said, you know, when we do have these government grants that for enforcement, you're looking at anywhere between 10 and 12 officers a day out there for 4 to 5 hours that are only giving citations. So when that's not happening, you're dealing with the officers that are on patrol, trying to find somewhere to go and do enforcement in between the calls for service. So that does tend to drop our numbers quite a bit.
Okay. Thank you, Corporal. Oh, actually, Board Member Hernandez has a question.
Officer Pagan,
Yes,
real
sir.
quick. When the officers do sweeps in our parks and also in downtown and stuff like that, knowing that the individuals who they're, the cleaning the stuff up, the area, who they're kind of moving off to the side, they're using carts and things that are stolen. They know they're stolen because they're from the stores, and also, wouldn't that be theft? Or how can the HPD also, I'm just trying to figure out, they're using things that they stole, but and in front of the officers where they're using it to move their items, when that they knowing that items, I know the stores don't want to enforce or take it upon themselves where they don't care about it already. If it's stolen, but knowing that it's stolen, how can the officers, or what can we do to kind of stop the trend of, these carts being stolen, left on the side, on the road, off the road, on public sidewalks, for them to take that as well, because it would help, I think, alleviate a lot of the stuff that they're taking away, less for them to grab if they don't have a cart or I'm just thinking off on the top of my head real quick.
Yeah, no, I
Like that.
appreciate that. When we do park enforcements, and even when we don't do the enforcement with DFM, the facility maintenance people actually do sidewalk and stuff enforcement. We do go out and we do try to take the shopping carts. One of the problems with that is if we don't have the manpower, like you say, it's in the park, and we remove the items from the shopping cart. Now we're dealing with all that trash inside the park versus having them move it out of the park. The issue with the shopping carts is that the stores don't want to prosecute for the carts. What we found out is the shopping carts are like $500 a piece. So I'm surprised that they're just writing it off. But without a complainant to say that we want to prosecute for these carts, we actually can't arrest anybody for it. It is illegal to have them in the park, so we do take them when we can. We do operations where we actually just do shopping cart roundups in the community where there's shopping carts either left or a bunch of them in the parks and stuff like that. We try to get them back to the stores, or they station them somewhere within the city's property and have the stores come and pick them up. But yeah, I agree. The fact that they have these carts, it allows them to move more of their belongings and stuff from place to place. And without the help of the businesses, it makes it difficult for us to just prosecute someone or arrest someone without a complainant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Moving on to Eva Wiedenseed, Corporal.
Thank you very much, Corporal Pagan, Never Weed and Seed. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we did conclude our summer culinary program. We did have 22 students. We ended it with a banquet for the sponsors and supporters of Weed and Seed, which was put on by Roy's and the students, Roy's of Colina and the students. I am going to be working with the director of Weed and Seed to see what our next program is coming up, whether it's going to be a golfing program or a junior golf, junior bowling, or if we can get some funds and some cooperation to do another Waikai surfing, swimming event with some of the kids at the clubs and the schools and stuff like that. Other than that, that's about all I got right now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from board members for the Weed and Seed? Okay, seeing none. Questions from the community for Weed and Seed? Yes, ma'am. Please step up to the microphone, ma'am. That's okay. Welcome to the Eva Neighborhood Board. State your name first and then your comments.
Barbara Jesse. I'd just like to know how many police officers we have on the leeward side and if that's enough.
To answer your second question first, no, it's not enough. It's never enough. Actually, right now, I believe we normally have about 19 officers on duty from EBA to Y9. And that's per shift. And we could probably use another 40 or so. But unfortunately, we can't get that type of manpower and stuff like that. So we do what we can with what we have. We work with our communities and try to get our neighborhood security watch members to help us with reporting crime and observing crime and being witnesses in those types of cases. So, the public's help is always welcomed and appreciated.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, moving on to item number 3, Board Administration and Planning. And I would like to note, we have had a couple of board members show up since I originally made that announcement. We now have a total of 7. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 7. We have 7, so we can conduct official board business now. So we'll move on with the approval of regular meeting minutes from Thursday, July 11th, 2024. Any corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, we will proceed with the approval of those minutes. And now moving on to item 3B, filling of vacancies. We have 3 at-large seats that we have to fill tonight. And if we don't fill them tonight, then we'll just roll them over to the next meeting. If you are interested, please be prepared to show proof and verify residency. Do we have anyone that would like to volunteer to fill a position on the board tonight? We have 2. Okay. We have 2. Okay. Please, if you have a question, please step to the mic. State your name.
My name is Dave Morris.
Hi, Dave Morris.
Live up the road. I was just curious, what is the commitment? What does the role entail?
Responsibilities of the board member, basically care about your community. But more specifically, we meet on the second Thursday of every month. There is some training and education that goes along with that. More specifically, the Sunshine Law. We can't conduct any board business outside of the board meetings. There's an agenda. There are committees. Robert's Rules of Order apply. And I was going to say something about this a little later, but basically, the members of this committee have been elected by the community. So there was actually an established formal vote by the Neighborhood Commission Office. So each member up here receives several hundred votes to represent their community. And that's not necessarily to represent their personal interests, but to be able to collegially get along with members of the community, because it can get raucous in here sometimes. And some of us do wildly disagree with one another, but perhaps most importantly is that we get along with each other, even though we may have vastly different perspectives on something. So basically listen to members of the community, vote. This is an advisory board, so we don't really have power per se, but what we do is we provide a platform for the elected officials and other members of the community to come in and present the voice to the community and offer the community voice to those elected officials and other members of the community. Organizations, homeowners associations. There's a section on the agenda called Residents and Community Concerns. So it's part of the agenda is very formal, but there's a very informal part which you can literally talk about almost anything that you want to present. The elected officials or their representatives usually take community concerns, take them back to the elected officials, say to the city council or to the state house, and then proactively try to resolve those. But usually the month after that or a month after that, we get some sort of response. And we've been actually been able to effect quite a bit of change through the community using this forum. Have I covered that, board members? Pretty adequate?
I just have a point of inquiry, Mr. Chair. The people that would be appointed tonight, they're appointed to fill the remainder of the current term. So it's about a year-long commitment. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct, Trey.
Thank you.
Thank you for that add-on. Appreciate it. Okay, so we have 2.5 volunteers. We have to fill 3. So if you ask the question, you're probably interested. It's yeah. Whatever's not filled, don't feel compelled. That sounds like a plan. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll give each of you a minute to speak on the rationale and reasons why. Just tell us about yourself basically, and why would you like to be a member of the neighborhood board number 23. So please step up to the mic one at a time, state your name, and take about a minute to talk. And I'll turn the timer on so that you know when a minute has passed.
Just me?
No, Mike, Susan's here too.
Okay. Mike Plowman, lifelong off and on Eva Beach resident. I've been active with the board before. I did fill an at-large spot for 2 meetings last time around near the end. And I'll just say that we've made comments about people being active and present. At that one meeting that I was a full meeting member of, I was responsible for 2 items on the agenda. One was the consideration of a military affairs committee, and the other was the cluster. We introduced Kenny Liu and Tim Lee and the whole cluster leap issue, and we brought you suggested language. And at the next board meeting, Janet Lynn had done some great wordsmithing on that resolution. It passed. That resulted in an EIS being directed by the Department of Planning, which played a pivotal role. And what Kenny will probably update you on tonight is a possible resolution that the community finds acceptable. And I'll just leave it at that. And I'd like to chair the Military Affairs Committee if I am brought aboard. Thank
Okay.
you.
Hold for a minute, Mike. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you for the applause, Kenny. We would like to take this time for the opportunity for board members to ask questions if you'd like. You're not held to a standard if you don't want to ask questions. Many of us know Mike. So any questions for the candidate? Drake?
I have a question. Mr. Candidate, do you have any ideas or priorities in mind, a new resolution brewing that you'd like to bring to the attention of the board? If not, it's all right. I'm just curious.
Not a current resolution that I've specifically identified. Although with the Military Affairs Committee there, we have a border that is military from one end to the other with a lot of activity going on from all the way where John lives, all the way to down where Alex lives, and having active conversations outside of this forum that gives us more time to actually talk at length and have our questions answered by the military, the military folks, I think would go a long way towards bringing us into a more harmonious relationship.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the board? Okay. With that said, we have a nomination for, what was your name again, sir? I didn't recognize you with the mustache, Mike. We have a nomination for Mr. Plowman,
So moved.
seconded by Board Member Tynanis. Okay, we'll take a quick recess in a minute. Yeah.
So since there are 3 at-large seats, you guys don't have to compete for a seat. So what we'll do is we'll do a roll call vote for the one who has been nominated first, and then we'll give Ms. Susan Gorman Chang an opportunity to volunteer and share a little bit about herself to fill another at-large seat. Does that sound good? We'll do a quick roll call of the ones that I do have present at the meeting. I'll just go down the list that I have. Chair Clark. Sorry. If you do wish to nominate the person, you can say yes or say their first name. If you do not want the person to fill the vacancy, you can stay silent or say no. So Chair Clark,
Yes.
Member Gauss,
Yes, definitely.
Member Gordner,
Yes.
Member Reyes-Oda,
Yes.
Member Rogers,
Yes.
Member Tynanis,
Yes.
and Member Rosen Lee online.
Yes.
So he did receive the quorum vote, so he has been elected to fill the vacancy on the board. What we will do before we do call a recess, we'll give Ms. Susan Gorman Chang an opportunity to share, and I can give the oath of office to the both of them if she is elected.
Thank you, Jeffrey. By the way, if anyone hasn't No, Jeffrey's our trustee neighborhood commission office assistant. So thank you. He knows all the rules better than most. So if not all. Miss Susan Gorman Chang, come to the mic. Please state your name and tell us why you'd like to be a board member. Please
Yes,
tell us about yourself.
yes, Susan Gorman Chang. I've been here several times talking on different issues, mostly Shutdown Red Hill Coalition. But I'm also interested in land use and development and traffic issues. I know all of those are near and dear to us here. I was happy that the court did an injunction against the second wave pool because I don't think we needed a second wave pool. And also the judge took exception to how the developer calculated how much water they would use. So I do have some experience being on a board in a different state in Los Angeles. And so I have knowledge of the sunshine laws and Robert's Rules of Order and whatnot. And I'm just looking forward to learning more about our community and supporting everyone.
Thank you. With that, we'll open floor for questions from the board. Alex?
I actually don't, I hope it's okay. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that, I know that Susan and Michael have been in a lot of these board meetings. And I think for me as a board member, that's one of the most important things is people actually showing up and contributing. And so I just wanted to comment that I've seen both of them consistently at these meetings. So
Thank you.
I guess if I have to put it to a question, it's like, what's your motivation? But I don't necessarily have to ask that question.
Is that a question?
I heard it as a question. And
Okay, yeah, no, I am involved in the community and I just think this would be a really good learning opportunity. You said, we have some training and I just really want to learn about all the other issues. Certainly Red Hill is still there, but as I come to these meetings, I learn more and more about other issues, other concerns the community has, and I just want to help in any way I can.
any other questions from any other board members? Okay. I have a quick question. It's kind of related to Alex's question. Thank you for attending the board meetings. And as Alex pointed out, over time, I think you've probably attended more board meetings than some of the ones that were not, that are no longer here. So thank you. We all have, I guess, our own perspectives, and some of us have, I wouldn't call them pet projects, but we all have different things that we're focused on. Like for instance, for me, it's education. Having said that, I do try to look at other areas of the community and respect them and give them their regard. At different times throughout, you've sort of given an extended size of your heart to environment.
Yes.
Sometime at the expense of other things. So I just want to make sure that you can confidently weigh in on other matters as passionately, perhaps, as you do for the environment.
I believe I could, and that is part of my motivation for coming to the board to learn about the other issues and support them and not be, just single-minded.
Okay. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this. That does mean have a regard for the time allotted to speak.
Meaning coming to the meetings and,
No, just when we have time, if it's only a couple minutes, because sometimes when we're very passionate about issues, we can talk beyond the allotted time
okay.
frame. That's
No,
all.
I understand, so that everybody gets a chance to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Roll call vote. No, I thought Alex nominated. Alex, did you not nominate? Okay. I'm standing by for a nomination.
Yeah, I nominate Susan.
I second.
Reyes Otis, second. Roll call vote.
All right, again, so just a reminder, if you do want resident Susan Gorman Chang to be nominated to the board, please say Susan when I call your name or to say yes. If you do not, you could say no or to stay silent. Again, I'll go down the list that I have. Chair Clark,
Yes.
Member Gauss,
Yes.
Member Gardner,
Yes.
Member Reyes-Oda,
Yes.
Member Rogers,
Yes.
Member Tynanes,
Yes.
and Member Rosenlee online.
Yes.
All right, so she has also received the quorum vote to be nominated to the board. Chair, I'll say this on the record, if you'd like to take a quick recess, so I can give both the oath of office and for the board and for the community. With them being nominated, they can join the board at the table for the rest of the meeting and participate in any board business for the remainder of the time here.
With that, we will take a quick say 2-minute recess so they can be sworn in. Welcome our new members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. All right, okay, we are back at, looks like 7:38 p.m. I would like to formally welcome our new board members and remind them and the community that they are full-fledged board members who make no distinction at this point, whether they were voted in by the members of the community or by members of the board. They have full board rights from here on out, and they can weigh in on any of the issues and vote on the issues henceforth. Having said that, we will move forward with item number 3C, the Kalaloa Pickleball Complex Resolution as presented by the Parks Committee. I believe Mr. John Rogers and Mr. Alexander, what's your last name, Alex?
And we're gonna put the resolution on the computer. I just want to show the diagram for us. So I'll read what the resolution that we're proposing is to build a dedicated lighted pickleball complex within the Kalaloa parklands. So that's what we want to, we're asking the city to build a dedicated lighted pickleball court, at least 20 courts. And we got, so what I want to explain what this land is first, and then I'll read the resolution and we'll be done. As soon as he gets it. So basically the land, does everyone know about the 400 acres that was turned over from the Navy, turned it over to the city, actually the National Park Service, which then turned it over to the city. It was big news a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So there's 400 acres. Can you go to the next page, please, Jeff? Okay, well, as soon as you figure that out, I know you. Okay, so anyway, there's this big hunk of land on Kalaloa that 400 acres is mostly all in one place. It's several parcels. If you go to the next page, please, just so they can see the map. Right there, yeah, so here it is. So here we are, and everything in brown is DPR, and there's even a little hunk of DPR over here. So all that was turned over to the city a couple of weeks ago. The mayor did a big dog and pony show signing over the deed. And so basically, this is already like a lower land by the beach. That's Nimitz Beach, Eisenhower Beach, and it's going to be campgrounds just like it is now, or it was a long time ago. That's probably be the first place that actually gets up and going, although it is, I think they use it for campgrounds now. But this big hunk up over here, that's the biggest part of the land. And so I'm not asking where to put it. We're not asking where to put the pickleball court, but those are the parcels that it could go. This lower one, upper one, or even this little one right there are all places that the complex could go. So I will read. I'm just going to go over my glasses.
Hey, John, while you're doing that, I was just going to add that, I don't even play pickleball, but I just know that it's a huge up and coming sport in our community, and a lot of constituents have approached me about it. So I just wanted to voice that. This is just suggesting, John's going to read the resolution. It's suggesting that of all they're going to do an amalgam, a bunch of different stuff there. We would like them to do this for the pickleball because there's a lot of residents within at the greater Eva area that really want this. And so I just wanted to give that context thing.
The reading of the resolution. Build a dedicated lighted pickleball complex within the Kalaloa Parklands. Whereas the Eva Neighborhood Board, number 23, is committed to addressing the issues and concerns of neighborhood residents. And whereas after more than 24 years of negotiations, the Office of the Mayor for the City and County of Honolulu announced that the city has officially taken ownership of approximately 400 acres of former Naval Air Station land at Barbers Point from the Secretary of Interior, acting by and through the Director of the National Park Service, for public park and public recreation area purposes on June 12th, 2024. And whereas Mayor Rick Blangiardi, per the Office of the Mayor press release, states quote, "We have heard from communities across Oahu about the compelling need for additional public park and recreational opportunities. This generous gift of lands from the Navy and the National Park Service offers our administration an opportunity to think big and outside the box for more recreational opportunities for the people of Oahu, whether pickleball courts, tennis courts, campsites along Oahu's leeward coast, or possibly a future community motorsports park. These former Navy lands given to the people of Oahu by the NPS are an investment in our communities and the quality of life of our people. We are beyond grateful," end quote. And whereas in March 2023, the Association of Pickleball Professionals reported that 48.3 million adult Americans, nearly 19%, played pickleball at least once over the last 12 months, with the average age of the pickleball player being 34.8 years. And whereas the Sports and Fitness Industry Association reported that for the third year in a row, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America, with participation rates growing at 223.5% over the last 3 years. And whereas as of April 2nd, 2024, the Department of Parks and Recreation reports there are currently 197 public pickleball courts at 95 parks on Oahu, most of which are dual purpose tennis, basketball, and volleyball courts, with pickleball lines added, and then in parentheses, players bring their own pickleball nets, and only 36 of these courts are dedicated pickleball courts with pickleball nets. And whereas as of April 2, 2024, the DPR reports a plan to convert underutilized volleyball, basketball, and tennis courts to dedicated pickleball courts with pickleball nets at various parks. And whereas the DPR also reports that these are making reports that they are making adjustments to the planned pickleball court conversions based on community feedback, indicating that there is there's community pushback to pickleball court conversions at some locations. And whereas there are currently 0 city dedicated pickleball courts in Ewa Beach, or Kapolei area. Whereas the current DPR plan indicates that Ewa Mexico District Park is the only park in the Ewa Beach and Kapolei area that will be converting 2 tennis courts into pickleball courts, but the DPR informed the Ewa Neighborhood Board that the conversion is not planned during the 2024-2025 budget cycle. And whereas evidence of the popularity of pickleball in the Ewa Kapolei area and the need for dedicated pickleball courts is apparent in the example of the private Mexico Pickleball Facebook group that boasts 772 members, welcomes all, and organizes drop-in play at Ewa Mexico District Park 6 times a week, 24 plus hours a week, in parentheses, utilizing the pickleball line tennis courts, 4 and 2 volleyball courts. Whereas the Kalaloa Parklands acreage presents a unique opportunity to create a dedicated pickleball complex of 20 plus lighted courts, similar to the Jared M.W. Awaze Tennis Complex at the Patsy Mink Regional Park, allowing for pickleball pickup games, lessons, leagues, and tournaments. And whereas a Kalaloa Parklands pickleball complex represents an important opportunity to bring recreational equity to the Ewa Beach and Kapolei communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Ewa Neighborhood Board number 23 requests that the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu and its relevant departments and the Honolulu City Council build and maintain a dedicated 20-court lighted pickleball complex within the newly deeded 400-acre Kalaloa parklands. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the mayor, the council, and all his directors, and all the representatives, and all the senators, and all the council members. I made that. I abbreviated that.
Thank you,
And
John.
that's the reading of the resolution.
And with that, we will open the floor for discussion on this by members of the board. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Yes, Chair, I have a question.
All right, Trey.
John, thank you for presenting this today. My question to you is, how did you settle on the 20 court number?
Well, kind of no, I didn't. No, well, the Court Parks, the Court Park, Central Oahu Regional Park has a 20 tennis court complex. And so it's kind of going with that. And then other research looked at, and these big complexes are in that 16 to 25, 30 range. And so 20 kind of works, nice middle number.
Would that satisfy your question, Trey?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board? Seeing, oh, Susan?
Thank you. Yeah, this is great. Thank you for doing this. I do have another question. It looks like it says whether pickleball courts, tennis courts, campsites, motorsports park, are there other people kind of contending for this land that we know of so far?
Yeah, well, we know the motorsports park because they were there, and they've been talking about building a motorsports park. And I don't care how that happens. There's 400 acres, so yeah. So you can put a lot of things in there. And the city actually talked. I attended virtually a meeting where the director of Parks and Recreation, Director Thielen, talked about all the hoops that she's got to jump for the city council. And there's a lot of, it's kind of wide open right now. In order for them to get a motorsports park, they have to actually have to go to the parks, the National Park Service, and request it, because it's not on the, I don't understand all the wording, but anyway, it's not on the regular deed. And so they got to ask for it to be there because it's not one of the things listed as a recreational activity. So it's something that's got to be added. So that's one of the things, but they're going through with that. And so, there's a lot of land. It can be a lot of things.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was my question. So how many acres is the 20 courts taking up, just roughly, of the 400?
Oh, that's okay. So this,
Oh,
I
sorry.
did do some math. So one court is 20 by 40. The Gods of Pickleball says that in order to have a pickleball court in a tournament, it's got to be 68 feet by 36 feet. And so if your acre is 208 feet square, and so if you can put 15 pickleball courts in 1 acre of land. So
Thank
I don't
you
know.
very
So
much. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
No, that really
You can
gives.
ask that question.
I'm so
So now we can tell all of our students and friends and young children that are going to school, you will use this algebra one day, you know. All right, thank you, John. I do have a quick comment. Seeing no questions. Actually, let me open up to questions. Was there another, Mike? Okay,
Real quick comment. I'm in favor of this.
that was your comment. Thanks, Mike.
Very good friend of mine, Justice, was over at my house. She is an OR nurse in a orthopedic surgeon's office. #1 injury these days, torn Achilles from pickleball.
Oh, really? Okay.
Be careful out there, bro.
I'm actually not my wife's a big pickleball player. I'm like just halftime. Whenever she doesn't have 4 players, she drags me in there. So.
Okay, any questions or comments from the community in the meeting room?
First of all, I want to say
Sir,
congratulations.
sir,
Oh,
please state your name, sir.
David Elkos.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alcos. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And congratulations, Chair.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to congratulations to, for the neighborhood board and for the community for working hard in getting the land transfer over from the Navy to the city. And that's something overdue that we've been trying to get for a while. And, by all of us working hard in a community, we finally got a sports complex that we can build in the future. For pickleball, maybe 10 acres, 5 acres is good enough. But can you imagine how much what we can do out there in the community? So football field, basketball field, baseball field, sports complex, I just want to say that let's continue pushing, because right now, if you look on the weekend at our parks, it's filled up. There's no parking. The kids take on the whole thing, and hopefully that we can get turf, or hopefully we can get better grass that they're going to water them this time instead of don't water them and it's not going to die. So let's hold them accountable. Let's get something great on our side. And I'm all for the sports complex on this side of the field, and I would like to continue advocating for all you guys' hard work and what you guys needed out there in the community. So really look forward. Good job, John. Thanks.
Hoorah.
Thank you.
Alex?
Yeah, I just want, Dave, thank you for that comment. I did want to say that, I'm totally willing to write more, work with you on resolutions for something like that. I think that's a really great idea. And if it would help for the neighborhood board to put I think we want to step up resolutions to support initiatives. And I think finding other things that we want as a community, I think that is absolutely, we've heard on the Parks Committee that complaint exactly about not enough fields, people from outside EVA using the fields. And so I think that's a really great idea. So let's work on something for another resolution for that. Oh, absolutely. A swimming pool. 100%.
Okay, next speaker, please state your name. And you have 1 minute, please.
Tara Rojas, I just wanted to say that seeing this process of how easy it is to get a resolution, created, that to keep that in mind, because yes, this is needed for the keiki, and as well as, the adults. But if this is how fast a resolution can be created when it's of the interest of those who sit on the board, just to keep that in mind, because they're, in addition to other competing interests for the land for its use, again, there are people who have the rights to the land that are still living heirs of that area. So just again, to keep that in mind, I'm going to keep bringing it up because if that's not the majority, of who sits on the board and of your mindset to decolonize your mindset, please keep that in mind because it's indigenous Ike that is really saving the planet. And to look back into your minutes, years back, and then to see the history of what's been presented. Okay, mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. Please state your name and then your comments.
David Morris. So first of all, Chair, again, kind of to echo what Rep. Alco said. I think it's great that you guys have, or that the city has managed to get this transfer completed. And I think it's great that we're looking at various activities. The pickleball, I think that sounds like a blast, especially for the kids. My interest, I'm the youth activities chair for the VFW post in Eva Beach, and we charter a Cub Scout pack. And so as you guys look to various uses to request for those parks, one of the things that we're trying to figure out how to do is find more space because the group has grown. We've got about 40 to 60 kids, depending on the time of year, and I expect that to continue to grow. And one of the things that I would like to see in the parks would be something like a youth activities pavilion type of thing, where we can have a semi-enclosed place for groups like ours to meet. I don't think that that's going to necessarily conflict with a 3-acre pickleball court, but amongst the entire 400 acres. But that would be something that I would like the board to consider as it looks at what to request from the parks.
Excellent. Thank you, David Morris. Appreciate it. Couple comments online. Eileen, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. Yeah, so John, could you please address the petition?
Yeah, that's later, honey.
Oh, okay. Well, I can say it now that I created a petition for this and distributed it in change.org. I'm a pickleball player, among other things, and we got over 300 plus signatures in a short amount of time. So just FYI on that, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
There's a scan position back on the table for anyone who wants to scan and sign our petition. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I believe we have a young member of the audience that would like to come up and speak. You have 1 minute. Please state your name and then your statement. I think we're having some technical difficulties. Susan, can you handle your microphone down on the end?
Yes.
My name is Siti Blancaos. I would like to say the statement is an issue generous donation of land from the Navy, just to let you know.
Thank you. Okay, I just have just a quick comment as we wrap up this segment. We talked about this at last month's meeting. This 400 acres transfer from the federal government to the state, to the city and county, it's not going to affect just the Avacapale area. It's going to affect the entire state. And as such, it's a pretty big, important project. So we're going to be tracking this one pretty closely at this board. And it's not just that we want to micromanage, because remember, we're just an advisory board. One thing that I think it's important to remember is that it's not just local money that's flowing in. There's still going to be federal dollars and state dollars that are going to flow into these projects. Developers are going to be chomping at the bit to get at this. So to John and Alex's point with the Parks Committee and a lot of the comments here, these are our parks. This is our area. This is our corner of the world. So it's especially important that we make sure, I time myself to give myself a minute to make sure that we are paying attention to what, I don't want to make this an us versus them thing, but we are paying attention to what they are doing. So.
Check.
You have a question, Susan?
Yeah, when everything shakes out and, people determine this will be a pickleball court and whatnot, is there an environmental impact statement that's done?
Yes, there'll be probably multiple EISs done for this because there's going to be multiple smaller developments within the larger development writ large.
So if I can make a comment kind of close in that area. So when I attended when the director Thielen was talking, she mentioned that the land has got a lot of issues. So a big hunk of it was a dump site. So they can't even dig into this land anymore because they just everything's got to be on top. So that's why fields are like a perfect thing for it. It's just to put asphalt on top and so there's not going to be a lot of digging. So a lot of the land, especially up in that upper area that we talked about, is contaminated and there's some issues and they got to work through a lot of that. The beachfront land, that's all. I think that's mostly all good because it was camping from ever since I can remember. So.
Okay, so that's all part of the EIS, yeah. The
Thank you,
contamination.
John. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And just one more
Susan,
comment.
we're going to move on.
Okay.
We've been on this for about 15 minutes, so thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Parks Committee. Moving on to presentations. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just so happy to just move on. So good presentation though, John. There's been a lot of discussion. I guess the reason why I kind of moved on because I just presumed that everyone would kind of support this, but so at this point, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the EVA Neighborhood Board resolution. Mike Plowman. Do I hear a
Move to
second?
adopt.
Board Member Tynannis seconds. We'll do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? All right, seeing no abstentions or opposes, the resolution has passed. Thank you, community, for your input. It is very valued and very valuable. All right, board, can I move on now to presentations? Okay. We have a quick presentation coming up by the proposed bus service changes by the Department of Transportation Services, DTS. I believe the presenter is online.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, you gotta let me know if I'm too loud.
No worries,
Hi.
we're controlling it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Irene Banal. I'm with the city's Department of Transportation Services, from the bus operations section. And I come here with a survey for you. We want to get your feedback. Share my screen.
Absolutely.
Um, Okay. Can you see my survey? Are you able to see my survey?
Not yet. We see you though.
Okay, stop video. Sorry.
That's okay.
Um, okay. MS.
You do have 38 seconds remaining though.
Okay. Um,
Just kidding.
okay. How's this? Can you?
Nothing yet.
Oh gosh. Jeffrey, I emailed you the
Yeah,
slide.
he's attempting to bring it up on his laptop now, Irene.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Are you still trying on your
Okay.
end?
Yeah, I'm still trying. Can you see it now? Or is it still not?
Okay. You want to just go ahead and start the verbiage and maybe just kind of get
Oh,
a review,
okay.
Irene?
Sure. Oh gosh. Okay. So our survey is we're proposing to restructure some routes in the Eva Beach Kapolei area. And this is it's not set in stone. We're trying to get public feedback. The earliest we would propose to have them done is in December, but realistically, it'll probably be pushed back. Thank you. It'll probably be pushed back to March. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's get to that. So the routes we're looking at restructuring or proposing to restructure are the 41, the 44, the 415, and the 461. So, and we are also proposing a new route, Route 47, which is it's going to be a bit of a hybrid of the 44 and the 41. So I'll share with you the maps, but before we get into the maps, I want to reassure you that, sorry, can you go back up? The list of routes right here will not change. The 40, the 42, 46, all of those routes listed there will not change. Those are staying the same. Okay, ready, Jeffrey? Okay, so this is the Route 41 as it is now. It serves both transit centers down in Eva Beach. It goes up Fort Weaver to Geiger, Roosevelt, and ends up at Kapolei Transit Center. What we are proposing, if you could scroll down, we're proposing this adjustment where we take it still serves Eva Beach, but instead of going on Fort Weaver, we take Kapolei Parkway and we go to Kamakana Ali'i Shopping Center. The shopping center, we've been in talks with them and they are very supportive and open to getting bus service within their center. So there's some plans to make a bus shelter out there and receive bus service. And then from there, the bus will continue on through Roosevelt, wrap around Kamokila, and end up at Kapolei Transit. Okay, and then the next one. Okay, so side by side, so it's easier to see. On the left hand in black is the current Route 44. That goes from the Westlock Rail Station in Waipahu, comes down Fort Weaver, through Eva Villages, down Philippine Sea Road to Kolawaka, and then all the way down to the end of Fort Weaver. So what we're proposing is that we splice that in two So the top half of Route 44, it still goes to West Lock Station, but then we're gonna turn it down Renton to reach Kamakana Shopping Center. And then from there, go up to service all the way to UH West Oahu. And then it passes it'll also serve the 2 rail stations as well, but it'll end up at UH West Oahu Station. So that's the proposed new Route 44. And Route 47 will cover the lower half. So that will catch the end of Fort Weaver going up Papipi, Campbell High School, goes out to Kamakana, and then up to UH West Oahu Station as well. So we're still providing service, just splitting up the routes. Okay, and then next. Okay, the Route 415. Currently, it is two ways. Oh, the bottom half has changed in by Saratoga Enterprise area. Since they built out Roosevelt Avenue and improved it a bit, we're now able to provide a nice big loop. So from the lower half Enterprise Yorktown area, we can take Saratoga to Hornet to Roosevelt and come back on Kamokila Boulevard by like Costco area. And then next. And then the 461, that runs from Palahia, Makakilo, and it comes down to Kama'aha and then ends up at UH West Oahu Station. We're just streamlining that to service straight from UH West Oahu to Makakilo. That area of Kama'aha, Kapolei Parkway, and all of that, we still have existing service there. So they're not going to be without service. They're still going to have the 46, the 94, and the 411. And then next. This is an overall view of the proposed changes. Restructuring, again, the 41, the 44, the 415, and the 461. And then the brand new route would be the 47, which is represented in green. Jeffrey, can you go back to the first slide, please? So I'm here tonight to receive your comments and thoughts on what I've presented. And then if you want a copy of that presentation, Chair, would the board be able to distribute?
Our neighborhood assistant Jeffrey will be able to drop the information into the Google Drive, but yes, the members of the board can share it as well.
Thank you so much. And also our contact information is right here. You can call 768-8368 or email us with your questions, thoughts, and concerns at thebusstop@honolulu.gov. Thank you.
And thank you. And with that, we will open up comments, questions from the board. Ms. Reyes-Oda?
Hi, Irene. It's Julie Reyes-Oda. Just one comment. Or I guess it would be a question. Do you know what it would take to restore bus service to Kapilina or Iroquois Point? If that's up for consideration.
I've heard talks about that from our administration. I don't have any updates on it, but I know that's in discussion. It's on our department's radar. But I don't have any updates on it.
Okay. Thank you, Irene. Alex?
Yeah, thank you, Irene. I was curious on two things. Like, can you talk about like the justification or how it was determined to redraw these these maps, the one, I'm curious on that. And my second, I can't remember what my second question is, so just answer that one.
Oh,
It comes to
well,
me, Karina.
yeah, no worries. So we're constantly reevaluating our bus system as a whole, and then over time, infrastructure changes. Like we have Kamakana Ali'i that's built. I mean, it's not new, but we still haven't like adjusted our bus service to bring people there. So it makes sense, like, we build a relationship with them, and now we can connect our bus routes to there. Also, the rail system is up and running now, so we have to add that to our infrastructure. And Kapolei there's constant development, so we have to be able to provide service to the new residents coming in as well.
Thank you. And my other question was, until when are you receiving comments and feedback on this?
Well, the earliest this would be in effect is December, if at all. It's not a rush, so just over the next few months we will be receiving feedback constantly. We're trying to get it on everybody's radar as early as possible. But realistically, it'll probably be pushed back to March, just to give a ballpark.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Trey. Thank you.
What is your outreach strategy for current riders? And do you have any plans to post notice at the affected bus stops?
Are you talking about like for what I just presented, or what is the overall general process for outreach?
The general outreach plan for current riders, and does it include, posting notice and the option for people to fill out the survey at the affected bus stops? Thank you.
Oh, okay. So when we do propose changes, we go to the neighborhood boards that are affected. As for the riders, we have rider alerts that we give to the operators that they can hand out on the buses. And when there is for sure change, we put rider alerts on like the bus stops. So it's right now it's just a survey, but when like for other instances where the changes are coming down the line for sure, like we'll post the rider alerts at bus stops. We have the operators hand them out to the riders as they get on. And neighborhood boards. And yeah, that's currently what the plans are.
Thank you. If I can make a suggestion,
Sure.
the people you should certainly be talking to about this are the people who are currently on those routes. And I think the right
Yeah.
way to do that is to promote the survey link, ideally when they are sitting waiting for the bus at the bus stop, which increases the chances of them completing it while they might be sitting on their phones anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
John Rogers, and then Corey.
Thank you, Chair. So I think the routes that you described are using this road. There's a road called Coca. It's in between FDR, Roosevelt Ave, and Renton Road, and it's by the Rail Historic Society. It's that little bit of roadway. That's a privately owned road, and the whole reason why that road was opened up, where the gate was opened up after the base closure, was to allow bus service through there. And my question to you is, I don't know if you've ridden on that road or if you live in this area, but the road is in horrible. It's in horrible condition.
It's
right now.
gravel, yeah.
Full of potholes, and I'm just wondering. I've 311'd it, and the city has said that it's not their road; it's a private road, and I'm just wondering if because you use it for bus service, is the city going to take a responsibility to maintain that road, even though it's private? Now I know they do that in some other instances, so. I really think something should be done if we're going to continue to ride buses over that road and big trucks and a lot of other things. But So yeah, that's my question.
Okay, so just so I understand, you want to know if we're going to take over that
No,
road?
not take over. I don't know. It's just that someone's got to maintain the road. And when I 311 it, the city that came back to me, the response was that the city does not own that road, so they don't maintain it. And so it's full of potholes right now. The owner, I can't work on who the owner is, but I can also know that someone should take responsibility for it and your buses go over it. So I just wondering, has any thought gone into maintaining the roadway? That's all.
Okay, no, that's fair question. Can I get back to you with an answer on that? I gotta take that back to our branch to discuss.
Thank you. Yeah. I just wanted to
Yeah.
bring it up and to talk about the condition of the road. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I know what road you're talking about. That's a good question.
Either that or you could just say yes, and then we could put you on the hook for it and then move out from there. So, okay, Corey?
It's along those same lines.
Okay.
And Royal Cunilla, I think it's a private road, but some of the people there are far away from a bus stop. I've heard from both parents that, especially with school bus routes dropping and senior citizens having a far way to walk, I don't know if it's possible to have some sort of connection with Royal Cunilla to the other bus stops.
You're looking for a route just in Royal Cunilla, then like this isn't like a connection from Eva Beach or anything.
Go up, on Owiki Street because there's no route that goes that way.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's possible with that or not, but I'd be curious to find out, if that is possible.
Okay. I'll go take that back and follow up with the chair with an answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from members of the board? Questions from members of the community? Oh, okay. Senator Favela, online. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. A couple of things. I just hope you're gonna let the residents know on the substandard road, on Renton that the bus is gonna be increasing. And, you're talking about the survey. The survey is just to let the community know. It's not if the community of Eva Beach says no, DTS is not gonna scrap this idea. So I understand you're talking about a survey. The survey is just to let the community know what you guys are planning to do. Survey is not going to determine you guys are going to stop the route. If the Eva Beach community having more wait time and more less usage of the bus because we want to accommodate Kamakana Ali, yeah, to accommodate Kamakana, then that's a problem for our community because again, that's more wait time for our residents. And the second one is that we had numerous of meetings with your department, DTS, the Marines, and Iroquois Point. I just call it Iroquois Point. So we came to the determination that we was going to work this thing out. And then your people, I'm not going to say names, decided to do a survey, Chair, at the time when they only had about 1,000 residents in Iroquois. They did the 1,000 residents. The plan wasn't to have a survey done on ridership, was letting them know that they was going to have bus services, that everybody came to agreement that the Marines was going to open the back gate for DTF, for the buses go through to give Iroquois Point maybe 1 or 2 routes during the day so that they could alleviate the kids that don't get on the school buses and the families that walk in on North Road. The survey came back, 500 people out of 1,000 filled out the survey, Chair. Yeah. And out of the 500, 300 said they was going to write it. Right. So that's the reason why right now the managing director and the mayor is looking into getting the bus services redone in Iroquois Point because there's a need for ridership. So that's something that, again, the board should continue to work together and try to make sure that this happens because We cannot put it on the back burner because they want to accommodate Kamakan Ali when Iroquois Point and the Ever Beach community should be prioritized at first because people are walking through the roads that is not safe because there's no bus service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate your comments. Did you want to respond to that, Irene, at all?
No, I took his comment, so let the community know, send the survey out to the community so they have a say.
Okay. Speaking of community, any comments from the community here online? I just have a couple comments, and they're kind of integrated in. If somebody online? Okay. They're kind of integrated into some of the comments. One, I have a quick question. Would you characterize this as an expansion of services or a contraction of services?
I would say it's more toward expansion.
Okay. And I'm
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
I kind of saw that, and I know you talked about infrastructure, changes in infrastructure. I would like to tie that back to the senator's comments. With Capilina Homes, there was a survey done, and it seemed to favor buses staying going into that community, but the results of the survey did not yield those continued services there. So based on that, even though we have this survey, when can the community know the results of the survey? Because the senator seemed to know the results of the other survey, and the results did not yield what we would think would be the logical next step, which would be to retain those services or to improve those services into Capilina Homes. And North Road, of course, complicates all of that because students and other people take that bus route deeper down into Ever Beach. And if the bus doesn't go into Capilina Homes, then that complicates it. So my question is, will we know the results of the survey before the plans are put into action?
Okay. I am not the lead on that survey, but I'll write that down. So will the results of the survey
Right. So, and the reason why I asked is
be
because
shared with neighborhood board, right?
Yes. So what would be the
Okay.
point of the survey if we didn't do that? And when I say if we, I mean collectively, DTS didn't share the results of the survey. And the other reason is once the results of the survey are let out, then we should have some sort of expectation. We being the neighborhood board. If we are the primary portal in which you're sharing this information, and I know some of the board members like Mr. Gardner mentioned that perhaps putting, the advertisements for the survey at the actually affected sites. If we're not doing that yet, and if we're the primary portal, then I would think that we would be the primary recipient of the results of the survey, so we could know, and we would like to know that before the plan is put into action. And the last thing I'll say is kind of related again to one of the comments, is a communication plan. What is the plan for communication? And I understand that the neighborhood board, the communication rests largely, again, I'll call us a portal, but it seems to me it should be a stratified communication plan where we try to reach as many members of the community as possible, and not just through this particular portal being the neighborhood boards.
Okay, and this is not just in regards to the Capilina survey. It's generally, like you're saying that you don't want to, you're not if you're going to be the portal, then we should be letting you know the results of the survey, not just Capilina, but the survey I just presented. Yeah.
Exactly, because to tie in the senator's comments, we had the survey before. I'm not sure we were made aware of the results of that survey, the board, but then the plans went forward and the actions went forward to cease service into Capilina Homes. So here we are again, and again, it seems to be an expansion. So parts of it seems to be good news, but there are going to be affected members of the community that may or may not know about this, and they may want to weigh in. So it would be nice if we could know the results of the survey before that action is put forward.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I took notes on that, and I'll take that back to staff.
Okay. If we could expect maybe something at next month's meeting, Irene, is that possible?
Next month's meeting. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate your presentation tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, at this point, we did kind of pop over something early in the meeting when we didn't quite have quorum, and that was to entertain a motion to discuss the recess schedule for the year. So typically speaking, there's 12 months of the year. We meet every month, but we do take a recess for 2 months. So there's going to be some discussion among the board members on what months we want to take that recess. Typically, it's 2 or 3. I think mostly in the past, we've done 2. It just depends on what months we want to do that. So I'll open the floor up now for discussion or nomination of months. Anyone want to? No, Alex?
I mean, I think we've traditionally done May and December, kind of they're separated out across the year, so we have a break, so to speak. I don't like having a lot of breaks just because there's so much going on in our community that I think it's important to give continuity to all this. And so I just wanted to say that, you know, if we're going to do 2, kind of follow what we've done in the past, I'm in favor. I wouldn't want to go to 3. So.
Any other thoughts? Mitch?
I think May was when we couldn't have, I think the library was closed that one time, and that's why we had to recess. But I know for years we always just took December, but I'm open to whatever the board has. I mean, like what Alex said, we only have 12 meetings a year. We take 3, that's a quarter of the meetings already. I'm just down for December.
Okay. So you shoot it for just 1? Oh, okay. I like that.
And I think that's a great idea because if something comes up and we find out we don't have the library or something comes up, then we can have it. That would be the second one. So
Okay.
a snow day.
Okay. So do I have a motion? I don't see other comments on the virtual board members. A motion from the board.
Motion for recess in December.
Second.
Reyes Otis, second. Okay, so it is set 1 recess during the month of December, and it may be a ad hoc recess that comes up. The schedule for the year, meeting date, place, and time. I'm gonna take a mic and say that, Mitch.
Same.
Same.
Second.
Second, Reyes Otis, second. Okay, so meeting place and time. James Campbell High School, Ever Beach Library, 7 p.m. second Thursday of every month except December. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, board. Okay, moving on to residents and community concerns and community announcements. And I would like to remind our guests that this is limited to 1 turn, 2 minutes per person. Concerns or comments to public safety and government officials should be addressed in sections 3 and 8. And in the interest of time, please be brief with your concerns or questions. If you have any concerns or questions, please stand up to the mic. Okay. And if there's going to be more than 2, I would ask that you form a line behind the first person, state your name and your concern or announcement. Remember, this is for announcements too, not just concerns.
Good evening. My name is Karen Luke. I'm concerned about how much support we show our representatives. In June of 2023, 3 council members officially declined a 64% pay raise because they listened and accepted our opinion against such a huge salary increase. Councilmember Augie Toba is one of those people who has shown us that he truly represents us. His sacrifice not only left out the huge raise, it also negatively affected calculations to his future benefits and Social Security, retirement, and other compensations. Now it's time for us to support him, thank him, and tell him he has our unwavering support to immediately cancel the declined 64% raise in writing to the Administrative Services Officer. Will the board show its appreciation to Augie? Where is Augie? Will, The board? Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. Any other comments? Okay.
Aloha, Tara Rojas. So I wanted to bring up, because this is super important, there were only like 7 testimonies. There were like 5, 6 of us testifying against the Kalailoa Master Plan, which was August 7th. And the decision-making, that was a public hearing, decision-making will be September 4th. And so I really hope, some type of resolution, that dialogue that can happen. And by the way, what I found out is that if we're only allowed like 2 minutes, the only way that 2 minutes can be extended so for more of a dialogue to happen is if a question comes from someone on the board, just to let you know. Okay, so I looked into all of this because the Kalailoa Master Plans comes with, this is the Honouliuli Wastewater Treatment Plant plan. This is the Ewa Watershed Management Plan. This is the Rail Management Plan. This is the Ewa Beach Long Range Master Plan. These are Ho'opili Master Plans on the prime agricultural land, the most abundant land, yeah? And so this is Ho'opili. Okay, look at this right here. And this is the extensive archaeological survey and test excavations for the Ewa Marina project that somehow, that even it was in the minutes of the Ewa Beach neighborhood meeting from Senator Kurt Favela asking about how did it change from marina to a wave pool, yeah? This right here is the Comprehensive Long-Term Environmental Action Navy CLEAN, for acronym, for Pacific Division's Naval Facilities Engineering Command for Pearl Harbor. So this is all of these reports. They're in there. They're in the library. I got permission to bring them out, and they're erroneously, saying that the FONSI, there's no finding of significant impact. We can see the results right here. Ewa Beach is a limu base, just abundant, and there's hardly anything there. So we can see the impacts by going back.
Thank you,
And
Tara.
so we need to stand up together against the Kalailoa Master Plan, because the 20% that they're putting aside for affordable homes is 600,000. That's not affordable.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you
Tara?
have any questions, I can extend just a little bit.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Any other?
There's a question from the board.
Yeah. What do you think the board could do better in considering all of these?
I would like the board to realize that we cannot continue as usual. We need to look for other ways other than overdeveloping shorelines, because in the Navy's plan, or not Navy's plan, the Kalailoa Master Plan, it does say where all the water flows to, and it flows to the ocean. So we know that we are in a water crisis. It just came out that the plume has moved to the IAEA well with the PFAS, and so we have those issues available. And who's going to continue next is my son. He has his resident concern. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you, Tara.
My name is Sidi Blanco. There's an IG post from Kanaka Autonomy for Twinkle Boars. Title: Kanaka wakes up the mana. The post says Twinkle embodied Aloha Aina Kuleana, a reminder that she loving chose to remain unsheltered, to live amongst the poe she loved so dearly. Never homeless, because for Hawaiians in Hawaii, this is our home. Unsheltered, houseless. But for many, houselessness is not a choice. The housing crisis impacts Hawaiians at exorbitantly higher rates than foreigners. May Auntie Twinkle's legacy live on in one's Mo'amo. No more houseless Hawaiians in Hawaii. Not sure who needs to hear this, but Kanaka Maoli plus Native Hawaiians deserve an actual home. An actual home not tiny homes, not houseless camps, not destitute lands, not payouts, not affordable housing for developer tax breaks, not lotteries, not waitlists, not foreign landlords, slumlords, and classist fools, not systemic failures of epic proportions, not corrupt politicians or a false state bent on the genocide of the native people it claims to serve. We will miss her dearly, but are recommitted to and continuing her legacy until the very last houseless Kanaka. What is your kuleane and what are you doing for our Lahui?
Awesome. Thank you very much. So glad that you're involved with your mom on this. It's awesome. Thank you, Tara. Any other residents and community concerns or announcements? I thought I saw Ms. Polk hand up online. Karen, are you still on?
I am. Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you, Chair, board members. Kieran Polk, and I'm the Executive Director of the Kapolei Chamber of Commerce. I have an announcement. Every year, this is the 4th year, the Kapolei Chamber hosts a West Oahu Student Career Expo. It's the last Thursday and Friday of October. And we do this in partnership with the Department of Education and Kamehameha Schools and UH West Oahu. So it's a shout out to the community. If you have a business in the, and it really doesn't need to be in the West Oahu area, though we like to have our employers on the west side participate. But we are looking for employers, small businesses. It's really, really cool. We have over 2,000 students, including our 9th graders at James Campbell High School, bused onto the campus at UH West Oahu. And the students are able to interview and explore career opportunities before they choose their career academies. So we just opened up the registration for our employers to register. You can go on to kapoleichamber.com and look for the button on the top right. I'll also put the link in the chat. But like I said, registration's open for the employers through probably middle of September, the next 30 days or so. So it's free to participate. It is supported by sponsorships, but we hope that we can get as many of the businesses, different industries our students can explore. It's a unique opportunity. I have a second announcement. There will be a Makeke Farmers Market starting in Kalaeloa on September 10th. It'll be on the 2nd Tuesday of every month. I do not have the flyers or information of it yet, but on the next meeting, which will be right after the first one, I'll be happy to share that. But there will be information on the chamber page. We'll be helping to promote it. And it's actually going to be put on and managed by Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center, which previously did one in Kapolei, and they currently do one in Waianae as well. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate your comments. And I must say that I enjoyed the event at the Ewa Beach Humane Society this week that your organization put on. It was an outstanding opportunity to still man's best friend. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Chair. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, David Marsh, you have a comment? Okay.
More time. As I mentioned before, our VFW post sponsors Cub Scout Pack 167. If anybody has children in the area in grades K through 5, it's a great time to start with Cub Scouting. I'm really trying to focus on getting us more involved in the community. We're the last Cub Scout pack west of Pearl City. And we're kind of, during the COVID years, the Waipio, Ewa Beach, and Kapolei packs kind of consolidated into one. And so we've kind of found our home here in Ewa Beach, and we're trying to build out and get involved. So if there's anything coming up in the community, you can reach out to me and try and get them involved.
Do you have a point of contact or a website, telephone number?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at Cub Scout Pack 16, or just look for Cub Scout Pack 167 Leeward Oahu. We have a website, www.alohapack167.org. or you can reach out to me. I've got my contact information on the roster over there, or I guess I could share it as, I don't know if I should share it here or give it to somebody. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Up, sir, come on up. State your name and your resident concern or announcement.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Bailey. I live over in Ocean Point, and we got a letter from Hawaiian Management this past week that our insurance is going to go up $500. And my maintenance fees is $700, but the insurance is going to go up $500. So a lot of other people are probably going to get the same notices too. I want to make you all aware of it. And somehow we got to try to fight this, stand up, and do something about this. That's like more than 50% increase.
Wow.
On the fire, and so forth. I just wanted to, tell you about what's happening out there. You might have heard about it, other people, but it's just amazing.
And that's per month?
Per month.
So a combined total of $1,200 per month?
That's what I'll end up paying. $1,200. That's maintenance fees and insurance. Right now I pay $700. It'll be $1,200.
Wow.
I don't know how they can do that. Statutorily, I don't think they can do that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to other monthly reports. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just had a comment in response to that. I wanted to note that, I live nearby in the Kai townhomes. I rent, but my rent was raised for a similar reason. The insurance there has also gone up by $500 a month. If you follow the news at all, Civil Beat, for instance, you will know that the availability and cost of insurance, especially for condo associations for their masters, has increased dramatically. The availability has decreased. The cost has increased dramatically since the Lahaina wildfires. There was just an emergency proclamation by the governor to begin to address this. I'm not sure if we have the governor's representative with us tonight, but if so, that would be a good thing to raise with the governor's representative to understand what's being done.
Thank you, Trey.
Hi, I'm Kenny Liu. This is
Kenny.
regarding the cluster on Pohakapuna Road. Surprise, surprise. I don't have that much new information to give you, except that myself and two community members have been in constant negotiations with the developer, and he's been very agreeable. He went to the Department of Planning and Permitting and told them that he will no longer build that townhouse community. He addressed our concerns about flooding, the sewer, and the parking. He's addressed them all. I have a preliminary plan. It's still, he's still moving things around. The original complex was going to be 21 units with just under 50,000 square feet of living. The new project, 15 single family houses with just over 20,000 square feet of living, 42% of what was supposed to be. We know we need housing. The community, from everybody I've talked to, there's always going to be a few people that are going to have something to say when you have 300 people. The community is now behind this development for the most part. We're still working out the details. I want to thank Julie and Mike especially for all of you guys that help. But those two, thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Not
you. Kenny.
me.
Thank you. And I'd like to underscore that, if I could just a comment, that that's what happens in this community forum. Because, we all talked about it. We apply pressure, and community leaders, like I said, we're an advisory board made up of members of the community. We showed that tonight. Mike came on the board. Susan came on the board. People right out of the audience came on the board. You can make things happen. We can make things happen if you just take the initiative. So we have a lot of committees as well. So when it comes time to open up the committees, we'd love to have you on our committees. Okay.
John, I have from the board.
Go ahead, John.
So right now, the Oahu Regional Transportation, I should say the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Association is doing a survey on the Oahu Regional Transportation Plan 2050. So this is kind of a big year. So the last transportation plan was 2045, and this is about the whole county of Honolulu. So all the roads works, and this is about federal money coming in and getting dispersed to do road work. And so there is a survey online right now, and I created a scan code, and it's back on that back table or up here. And I just would like to ask everyone to take a look at this survey. I think it's really important because the next is 5 years from now, and this is a 25-year plan. So what you say, survey is pretty easy. It's a 10-minute survey, and they do most of the work for you by asking you to say what what's important to you by picking different things. And then from there, the survey changes for each person that fills it out, depending on what you fill out. So 2050, ORTP 2050, really important. Second thing is, we talked about this earlier, the creating a dedicated pickleball court. There's a petition back on the back table. If you scan it and fill out the petition so we can get more names. I was hoping for 1,000. We didn't get that done. We're in the 350 range. So no matter what, at the end of this week, we're closing this all out, and it's all what our petition and our resolution is going to go to the mayors and the power that be to show them that we want this to happen. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay, and with that, move on to presentations. I believe the first up, other monthly reports, I'm sorry, not presentation, we did that already. Hunt, VA clinic update. Tony, welcome.
Hey, well, first off, hello, everybody, board members, community. I'm Tony Gaston from the Hunt Companies, and I do have a quick update for you on the roadways out at Kalailoa. The VA clinic was turned over to the Veterans Administration, so Hunt doesn't have too much to report on that one anymore. But I do still want to talk about the roads. So especially since that presentation that we got about the transfer of the buses to FDR. The buses are going to continue using it. So, oh my gosh, we got to hurry up and open it, because if you've noticed, it's not opened yet. If you remember last time I came, when I talked about the roads, the hope was that the 2 lanes that are on the Mackay side, right now there's traffic going in each direction, right? They were supposed to only be going eastbound, and then the Mauka lanes would be going westbound. We were supposed to open the roads and everything, but then all of a sudden something happened. Couldn't turn on the street lights. And that's kind of important, especially at night when you have all of a sudden 4 lanes, and if it's dark, it's going to be a serious hazard. So for safety reasons, decision was made not to open it yet, and we're going to wait for the street lights. We've been working with Hawaiian Electric, the construction team, and Hawaiian Electric just recently told us they still need another 6 to 8 weeks to make sure that they can get the lights energized. So I'm thinking in the next couple months, after the lights get turned on, then we really can't open these roads. That's the quick update. Does anybody have any questions?
Chair, I have one.
Okay, John, thank you.
I just want by the, Costco and across from the VA, what is the road configuration going to look like when it's opened up? Is it 2 lanes each way? Or
so when you say to Costco,
well, no, Roosevelt Road, that's
Okay,
in front of the VA.
Roosevelt.
What is that road going to look
the
like?
future plan for Roosevelt, if it all works out, is 2 lanes eastbound, 2 lanes westbound, all the way from Costco to Geiger. So it goes all the way, comes back down. So the 2 gates that used to be there?
Yeah.
In the future, the hope is that it'll be 4 lanes.
So you're forgetting one thing.
What's that?
Bike lanes?
Okay. Okay, so I'll tell you this. Again, the segment from this intersection right here to Fort Barrett is already set, because there's a memorandum of understanding between 3 city and county agencies, Department of Transportation, HCDA, to follow this format. Now, from Enterprise going to Geiger, there is discussion already about changing the configuration, and exactly what you noted. How do we add in bike lanes?
So just to bring up one issue, so the Leeward Bikeway ends right at the Historic Train Society, right? And the plan was, since the train folks don't want the bikeway to go through their yard, the train yard, is to bring it out on Roosevelt. So if, just to put that in your mind, all it has to go is to Fort Barrett. We got to get a shared use path from the train station to Roosevelt, and then we have another bike path that's already part of the Kapolei neighborhood that's there. So
Ultimately, well, I will say this, ultimately, Hunt understands everything you're saying. The hard part is that everything is managed and we're told what to do by HCDA and the government agencies. We can't just go out there and do what we want. See? HCDA is the one operating the entire master plan. And of course, they are operating everything with the desire to dedicate the roads to the city and county, meaning you got to build it to city and county standard. You see, that's all the talk.
Alex?
Thanks, Tony. I'm curious, so if I'm not mistaken, there's still a bunch of undeveloped Hunt property in that area. And I was just wondering if you're going to be continuing, are you going to be providing us with some, are there plans already for that? I can't remember if we already asked this question, so I apologize if we did, but are there plans for that? And is that something you can share with us?
Hunt had, you know what? Can I have a little more time?
Of course.
Let me see if I can share something here.
And while you're looking for it, I'd just like to state that that is a beautiful building. As a veteran myself, it is a beautiful building. It is the premier VA establishment because I've attended the Windward Side VA clinic, the Sparks Masanaga clinic, and this one here is state of the art, absolutely stunningly beautiful.
Okay, you know what? Let me show you guys. Okay. Let me see if I can share this screen with you. Okay, can you see this screen? Okay, so this is all of Kalailoa, the 3,800 acres overall. The the parcels you see colored are Hunt's parcels. Those are the only ones that we can develop on and we have any control over. Yeah, so the roadways surrounding them will be managed by the overall development.
So perhaps my question wasn't clear. So I'm specifically interested in the plans for Hunt on those parcels.
Okay, so the plans on those parcels will ultimately have to follow the HCDA rules. They have specific zoning specified for each parcel. Let's say T2 to T3 to T4. So some of them can be like where Gentry's doing right now, whereas others will have to have mid-story and you can build a little higher. There could be mixed use, meaning some commercial mixed in with it, etc.
So it's part of the plan that just was, they just had a meeting about.
Right. Yeah. So what that master plan that HCDA came in with, and it shows the underlying zoning, ultimately, Hunt's parcels are going to have to follow in line with whatever that underlying zone is.
Follow the zone.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Just one more question, Chair. So it's the diagram that you have up there shows Saratoga Road going all the way to Geiger.
It's
Is
a
that still
conceptual plan.
possible?
It's possible. It's still a conceptual plan. HCDA, again, talking about potentially not having that. And then the roadway would end at the Tualakai extension. No, it's okay.
Appreciate it. Mike, I'd like to move on. We're getting kind of close on time here. Thank you, Tony.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
your time. Gentry Homes? You have anyone online from Gentry? That's it, anyone? Okay. A Seiko Homes update? That's
Hi there.
anyone?
Sorry,
No, it's on.
no update for me.
Hey, Lisa, go ahead.
No update. Just letting you know. Thanks.
Okay.
If I can bring up something to Gentry.
Yeah, there's no
Oh,
Gentry.
that's a Seiko?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Sure, I have something for Haseko.
Lisa, you're still on? No update, but you have a question from a board
I'm
member.
stuck here.
So there's the road, Keone-Ula Boulevard goes all the way, past Vaikai, ends, at a fence. So is there any thought, to opening up that fence and connecting that to Essex Road so that it would be a easy access to the White Plains Beach and the other, parks that are going to be there? Cause that's going to be a big part of the Navy parkland. And then if it's not a roadway, pedestrian, I just want to put these things in your mind, pedestrian or vehicular roadway that would connect to Essex would be a wonderful thing. And I think it goes from your land, Keone-Ula is still your road, right? And to city road, Essex, I think is a city road. Is there any thoughts on that or in the future? Thank you.
The plan has always been that that is a regional roadway that will connect up through there once Kalailoa has whatever developed on that side. So there is always a thought that that's going to happen. When that's going to happen, we're not sure because it has to have some development on Kalailoa side. Also, I believe on that side of the fence, the Navy has a lot of barricades or something. What road is the road that leads into White Plains? Is that Essex?
Well, Essex used to go into White Plains, but you're right, it's barrier. It has
Tripoli,
barriers.
right? Or-
Tripoli Road is now the road that
Yeah.
goes in.
So there's a lot of barriers over there, and we've been in contact with the Navy because they've been struggling with a lot of like homeless encampments in there. So we've actually had a lot of holes cut through our fence, trespassing and things like that. So we do want to open it up, but we just don't know when the appropriate time is, because of some of the issues on that side. And I know the Navy had mentioned that some of the homeless were like tapping into their water. I don't know if they were like, all of that complications. So bear with us, but that is a goal, right, in the future. So
Thank you. That's really good news. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Alex?
I just wanted to add on to that. If I'm not mistaken now, that a lot of that portion down by the coast is now going to be DPR land, right? And so I think there's the opportunity to bypass the Navy parcel altogether. And there's I don't know the name of the road that you guys have, but it's like a walking path that goes right by the Waikai that actually goes down to the ocean. And that could, if you were to follow that down and then curve, you could have direct access to White Plains straight through the new DPR land, right? And so
that's our Waikai Trail that goes past the preservation area and all of that stuff. Once we have areas that are built on each side, we do plan on opening it up. But for the fence line that's around, we don't plan on taking that down until we're kind of done. And then I think the land on the other side, that would be next to us on the shoreline, that's DLNR. So, and then there's no driving on shoreline and all of that. So
I'm not talking about that close to the shoreline.
okay, I was like, yeah, that road can't go through that lot there. That's a preservation. So we can't build anything through that area. So it's either where we connect up from Keone-Ula or walking along the shoreline.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
I just want to say I'd love to be able to talk with you more about that, Lisa, because we do want to write a resolution in support of that access for the EBA community.
Yeah.
Thank you. DR Horton. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a Haseko rep. Yes. Yes. Lisa, you have one more question.
Yeah, so I have a comment and you can just hear it. That's a result of this development that is out of reach for the majority. The houseless issues, it's just a inconvenience. That right there is just an issue. And I want to just let you know that, again, go back to the minutes of your meetings because it says there, how come Haseko, there were issues from the board members previously about that they wanted these developers, especially like Haseko, as well, were concerned that how come it changed from a marina to a wave pool? And in addition to that, the Kumu Mike Lee that was brought up in resident community concern in 2019, when he passed away, that there should be a homage to him. I guess he's been from the other side because I found his resource, his addendum, his appendices, 300 and so, or 260, I have to read again, 16 pages worth of addendums of documentation that supports his Ike, his culture rights, and it was literally to stop Haseko and then what they did was they broke the water table, as we all know.
Thank you,
So
Tara.
that's just the issue. Read the minutes of these meetings. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. DR Horton, Ho'opili? Not in the meeting room, not online? Okay. Moving on to government officials, and as a reminder, limited to 3 minutes per report. Follow-up questions and answers and comments limited to one turn, one per person. We'll begin with United States Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Major Jordan Fox.
Sorry about that.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, members, community. Good evening. First thing I want to announce this evening is I brought along 3 flyers. There's 10 copies of each for hiring on Marine Corps Base Hawaii. It's across a variety of subject areas: hospitality, sporting, fitness, childcare, and some other things. So please take one, and they're updated weekly for the job postings. There's a QR code on there, so if you want to go on the website and see what's available, you can also do that. Colonel Bevan passed me a question about the non-federal use of PRTF. So I went to work and gathered some statistics for you all. So as you can see on the slide, roughly 13 different federal, state, local, and civilian organizations have used the range since 2019. And the way our range management system tracks this stat is by personnel days. So what a personnel day means is if one person shows up to the range for that day, that's one personnel day. So if 5 people use it over 2 days, that's 10 personnel days. Government math, I don't understand all of it, but that's the numbers that come up. And then in the bottom right is just the variety of different agencies that have come out to support the range. This slide is in Jeffrey's inbox, so you can upload it to your shared drive for reference at any point. And then I can probably update this, on a semi-annual basis or so. And then lastly, RIMPAC is over. I don't know if that word has been passed to everyone on this side of the island from the Navy or otherwise, but that exercise has concluded. So pending any questions, that's what I've got tonight.
Before any question gets started, I just want to make note that Major Fox, United States Marine Corps, just made a Navy comment. I just remind everybody that the United States Marine Corps is part of the Department of the Navy. So that's all. But Major Fox pointed it out first. So thank you.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Major. All right. Any comments from the board?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Is this thing working? Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. The numbers that are up there are valuable information to know. They're also a little out of context because they don't show how many Marine training days are
The
there.
question was about non-federal, non-military use of the range. So that's
And that's great because all of the people that support and defend the Constitution of the United States need a place to train. When we buy you, the taxpayers buy you a new range, all of those agencies will also be able to train.
we also pay taxes.
So, right. Us. So that's good, but it doesn't compare it to how many Marines are training there now. And when you guys made the major mission shift by bringing all your annual training over to Uloa, that number pales in comparison since 2019 to the overall number. It's just, it's lacking a little bit of context in how many evolutions per Marine evolutions there are. And one final comment, Chair, regarding non-military people training at Pu'uloa. All of us taxpayers, just spent millions of dollars on an environmental assessment, plans, an extensive plan to open up a first responder training area up in Mililani, I guess it was, or Waipio. And they were ready to go. Governor cut funding. That was another place all those people could have trained as well. Just saying that there's more to this, this subject than, well, all these agencies train here. There's context involved. And
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I was just answering the question that was
understand,
posed
and
to us
appreciate the
from the
information.
board.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
It'd be good to compare it to how many.
Sure, yeah, I can bring those at the next meeting. Sure.
I believe it was 43,000 just in the year 2023. Lieutenant McDonough.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Sarah?
Aloha, Tara Rojas. Two comments. One regarding the RIM pack, that was super sore to the heart and to the pu'uvai, you know, and just your soul to see a battleship shooting live fire all the way on the beach, all the way up onto Waimanalo Beach, as while somebody was there in prayer with speaking of their very ha and of that aina, and to see that going past them. That's heva. If you're not of a military background, and if you are of this place, you can imagine what it feels like. And then second was that military or the first responder training. That I'm super happy that that got scrapped, because we see the corruption that was taking place there, that not all of us, those of who are for the aina in Hawaii, are not for that type of use of our taxpayer money. And so just wanted to say that. And again, look back at your minutes that this issue of the Pu'ula training range has been pretty much consistent over the years. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Major Fox. Appreciate it.
Sure, thanks.
United States Navy, which comprises the United States Marine Corps.
Part and parcel. Part and parcel. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, members of the community, board members. Congratulations, the new members. Glad to look forward to working with all of you again. Not much new news really from the Navy Closure Task Force. I'll jump to Victor's sent me some updates on the Navy RIM pack, of course, is over. The other notes, pretty much Westlock Fairways. I think he addressed some of your questions, Mr. Rogers. And then North Road, rumors of Navy closing North Road are not true. So I know that we need to do some work over there. We need to work together on North Road, but the rumors of the road closing are not true. So those are questions that were passed to me on the way in the door. One of the members of the community, I believe it was Mr. Ross, asked me about the memorial plaques up at Red Hill and what the plan was. Mr. Ross, I see you nodding. I found the plaques that I could find in Edit 5, and there's no mention of the men that were killed during the construction. So that question is still out there. If there is some kind of a record of the men that were killed during the construction, but I did find the brass plaques, and we will make those available to the public once the facility is completely closed over the next few years. Of course, that's way down the road. We don't have any details right now, but we have it marked down for future action, and we'll definitely keep the community informed of that. As far as Navy Closure Task Force news, 21 August is our next open house at the Moanalua Terrace Community Center over there close to the Navy Exchange. We hope to do these on a more regular basis. We do them quarterly right now, but we're hoping to jump into the different areas that we, as we communicate with them, that were affected by the water, including Iroquois Point, which will be the next information water booth, will be down at the night market on the 28th of August. Other than that, there's really not much of the activity I reported on last month, the new operational updates, the supplement 3 that has been passed in. So I'll go ahead and turn my time over for questions from the community.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Question from members of the board. Susan?
Yes, I have a question. I think it was last month, you were going to follow up on why the Navy is not showing up to the Community Representation Initiative meetings.
We're waiting for some direction from Washington, D.C., as I mentioned then, Chair and members of the board, and also the EPA, talking to EPA and DOH also for the redesign of the CRI and the future relationship between the Navy and the CRI and the responsibilities of both parties. Other than that, it's way above my head, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the board, either in the physical space or virtually? Seeing none? Okay, questions, concerns from the community? Again, 1 minute, Susan.
Susan Tara.
I'm sorry, Tara. Tara.
And
You two can work as a team sometimes, so.
And that's why I was kind of concerned when you asked her if she's going to speak as passionately for other things, almost as if you wanted to stop that. But I'm going to keep speaking up because I just need to, and I'm going to sacrifice my life. And I'm going to see this recording a month later, but I'm going to bring it up here because it was dated Saturday, July 22nd, 2017. Hawaiian cultural practitioner Mike Lee comments on Navy Barbers Point toxic chemical landfill. So he has here in this blog, the whole history that has documented with the Palapala, with the paperwork necessary to turn in addition to rail, in addition to Navy, in addition to Hope Pili and all these things, how it gets passed through and just sits in those binders that are in the library that had that special permission to take out. But it says here, basically, it's infringing on the cultural rights and that they do not have the jurisdiction. And just advocating for, and it says here, why aren't the state and federal laws that are supposed to protect us and our cultural heritage being followed? Why was I, as an officially recognized cultural lineage descendant of this area, not fully consulted on the project plans in the very beginning? Before they proceeded with the very first meeting. It strongly appears there was an attempt to hide this and not notify me, which is inexcusable, as I have been a Section 106 consultant in prior Navy projects, and I have recognized cultural descendant status from Honouliuli Ewa by the city, state, and U.S. Navy. So I'm going to put that on the record on behalf of Kumu Mike Lee, and I will continue to bring up all this information because we're only allowed 1, 2, 3 minutes unless asked the question by the board to continue. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate your comments.
I have something I want to add, or
Okay, anybody else in the physical meeting space have a? Okay, seeing none? Online, Mr. Ross?
Mr. Ross.
oh yes, I just wanted to add that when I went to Red Hill, the tablets or the sign that talked about the individuals who lost their life was in the opening part of the Red Hill itself. It was not in front. You had to walk through the cave area, and then somewhere within the area, maybe like 10 feet, 15 feet, they did have like a plaque of the names of those individuals. So maybe it got pushed away, but it might be someone has idea of who may have moved it or what happened to that particular plaque. So I'll just leave it in your hands to kind of find out.
Yes, sir. I won't give up on the hunt. I've only been through 3 of the lower tunnels of the 20 tanks. So I'll keep looking, Mr. Ross, and I'll keep you in the loop.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions from the community? Please, go ahead.
My name is Edith Blanco. I would like to say for Mike Lee, I must constantly rely upon vigilant protection of my religious, traditional, customary, native Hawaiian practices and cultural natural resources, or I will lose them forever. As the kohu or keeper of the iwi kupuna in this area, as recognized by the Oahu Island Burial Council and State of Hawaii Historic Preservation Division, it is my responsibility to ensure the protection and safety of all the bones and objects within my family's burial complexes in this area. There has been no adequate archaeology surveys of this area since the 1990s. Known to have Hawaiian many archaeological sites and vahipana. Further, no comprehensive studies have been done to prove the environmental safety and no ill effects on the fisheries reef and to human occupants living and using this area for sustenance and recreation. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Todd, thank you for teaching him to be a very responsible citizen. Thank you. I appreciate it. Moving on to United States Army. Oh. No one in the physical room, anyone online? Seeing none? Yeah, sure, go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, I would like to thank the Marines, Army, Navy, for giving their reports. Under no obligation, they have to be here. But you guys are here on your own steam to give us a report on what's going on and what's happening. And thank you guys again for showing up and being open to this public forum. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate that. Next up, I believe virtually, we have the Representative Ed Case. Nestor.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman Clark, members of the board, those that are sitting in the physical meeting space and those online. Mr. Chairman, happy to be here. Nestor Garcia for the record with the Office of Congressman Ed Case. We have our third quarter neighborhood board report. I'm not quite sure if it can be shared with all of you in that room. Let me know if you can see it, Mr. Chairman.
Indeed, we can see it.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll go quickly, given the time allotted, yeah?
Thank you.
First page, we're talking about, as a member of the House Appropriations Committee, this is Chairman, Congressman Case's sixth year on the Appropriations Committee, responsible for funding our federal government and all its various programs and agencies. Happy to report that in the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs appropriations measure, there are 12 measures actually in appropriations. When it comes to Milcon VA, Hawaii, happy to report, will have the largest amount of funding for military construction as compared to the rest of the country, sir, $1.5 billion. Most of that money, members, is going to continue the work at the dry dock number 5 at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. This is one of the largest, if not the largest, projects ever in the history of the United States Navy. That new dry dock is critical because of the new class of submarines that we need to make sure that we maintain. Yep. In the Appropriations Subcommittee on Defense, we continue, Congressman Case, along with the members of the congressional delegation, want to make sure that we continue funding for the decommissioning of the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility. Yeah. Let's see. Congressman Case sits on the subcommittee on appropriations that deals with Homeland Security. In that appropriations measure, the congressman was able to request and get approval actually for $1.1 million in funding for a community disaster preparedness information platform. What that is that the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency is going to develop this platform so they can share information with other like organizations, even with the private sector and nonprofits in advance of a disaster so that people have shared information and can collaborate and come up with the best ways to deal with whatever pending disaster might afflict the state. You know? Okay. One of the big controversies that came out of not just in the House, but in the Senate is reworking the Selective Service. As you know, young men, when they become age 18, and they have to sign up for the Selective Service. You know? This is the pool by which, if they ever bring back the draft, this is the pool that they select people to serve in the military. So what happened in the House was that they want to make this automatic when you turn 18. If prior to this proposal, if you didn't know that you had to sign up for the Selective Service, if you didn't see any ad or somebody didn't tell you that you had to do this, I guess there's a number of people that don't know that they have to do this. And that comes with a penalty, by the way, if you don't sign up for the Selective Service. So what the lawmakers in Congress are proposing is, why don't we just make this automatic? Anybody that turns 18, the House version is focusing on just young men. It is the Senate version that wants to include women that turn 18. Okay, so these proposals are still to be negotiated in Congress to see what the final version will look like. But for now, both sides, House and Senate, would like to see that this is an automatic registration for those who
All
turn
right,
18.
Nestor, if you could wrap it up, appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. And then the last, Mr. Chairman, we are accepting, this office is accepting nominations for our various military service academies, the 4 service academies, Army, Navy, Marine, and Army, Navy, sorry. As you said, the Marine is part of the Navy, sir. Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Merchant Marine. We have already been accepting applications, and those who are interested can call our office at 808-650-6688 for information on that. The chairman willing to answer any questions you might have for the members.
Thank you, Nestor. Any questions from members of the board? None in the physical meeting space. Any questions from members of the board online? Okay. Questions from members of the community?
This is Ross. I have a question.
Okay, Ross,
Yes, Mr.
hold on. I'm
Ross.
gonna do the physical meeting room first. Stand by, sir, please. Thank you. Physical meeting room? No? Do you want to talk? Okay, you have 1 minute. Let's stick to the 1 minute though.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sadiq Blanco. For me, I'll say no to this draft because first of all, I'm not going to be shooting or killing anybody on my community or anybody in this world because first of all, we shouldn't be shooting people and killing people. And it's also against my religious beliefs. And second of all, I don't want to be part of this draft. And also, the draft is really dangerous. Mahalo.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Mr. Ross?
Yes, I understand part of the controversy is that they wanted to make it universal, meaning male as well as female. And that's where we start drawing a line. So what is the senator's stand, what is the representative's stand on that particular issue?
Mr. Ross, the congressman is willing to entertain the idea of having young women automatically registered in the Selective Service.
Thank you very much.
As the chair of the board, I appreciate that straightforward answer. Thank you very much, Nestor. Moving on, Sarah, did you have a comment?
Yes, I have a comment and I echo what my son said, and that just came from him. And when he heard about it, we thought this is not real. How is that is this for real? And I do not want my daughter, and I know my daughters do not want to be part of this draft at all. So I'm just gonna put out there that no to this, and I cannot believe that this is taking place. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. I believe that I've covered all the comments in the physical space as well as virtually. Moving on to Mayor Rick Blangiari's representative. They did send me a notice since they do not have a rep. I'll just kind of go through these right quick. The city continues to add new treatment options for Oahu's chronically homeless population. Friends, family members, remember Honolulu lifeguard Tamayo Perry. The new acting director of the Honolulu Ocean Safety Department is sworn in at Honolulu Hale. The Waikiki community comes together to unveil new trash cans developed to keep trash off of Oahu beaches. Restoration work concludes on the Mahatma Gandhi statue near the Honolulu Zoo. The August 2024 edition of the Mayor's Newsletter can be found online at www.8.honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. And finally, Fire Department response mapping. Do you want more details about the incidents of Hawaii Fire Department's monthly report? You can search for these incidents and learn more about them at www.responsemapping.com. That's RESPONSEMAPPING.com. And they claim no departmental issues to follow up on. So I'll kind of have to go with their word on that. Moving on, Council Member District 1.
Chair, may I say something, please, about the mayor's rep?
Please.
So I'm on the NCO website right now, and I saw this earlier today, and so I expected that we would get the mayor's rep today. It says I can show you, it has your name as the chair, and then it says the mayor's rep is Mark Yonami, and he works for Design and Construction, DDC. So I don't know. So we do have at least the NCO website says we have a rep.
I can make a comment on that, Member Rogers. He has been a newly appointed deputy director. We are pending his confirmation, but he was not able to get back to us.
Okay.
The name was presented to us, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on Tuesday for him to fill that spot as the mayor's rep. So we are pending his response. But yes, you are correct. You do have a mayor's rep, which I would like to give the safe assumption that he will be present in some fashion, virtual or in person, at the next meeting.
So may I write up a list of things that I've been wanting to ask for a few months now, and you could present that to the city for me?
I don't see why not.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Thanks for that clarification, John, and the answer, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. Now we can move on to Councilmember District 1, Councilmember Tupola. Not in the physical meeting space, online. Seeing none, moving on to Councilmember District 9, Councilmember Augie Tuba, representative. Aloha.
Aloha, Chair. Aaron Michael Ho here, Councilmember Augie Tuba's office. The councilmember is traveling at the moment. He did tell me that he would try to log on, but where he is, I guess he's not available because I don't see him online. But I did distribute his bulletin earlier this evening, and there's extra copies on the back table. If anyone did not get them, digital copies can be found at our website, augietubahnl.com. I think it's .com. So yeah, if you'd like to check that out, please do so. And in the interest of saving time, I will stand on that, and I'll take back any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Mitch?
Two questions. First one, Section 8, is that a city-run or county-run program?
I believe so.
Can you find out for me if, let's say I apply for Section 8 here and I was granted Section 8 status, right? And I move to the mainland. I heard it carries over to the mainland. So Hawaii pays for Section 8 for a local resident up in Washington, or so it kind of takes away the funding for the people that still live in Hawaii. So can you find out if that's true or not?
Sure, I'll take that back. Thank you.
And second question, I talked about real quickly with the HPD about the homeless stealing carts around the place. Is there any way to create something where I know the stores will not take it back, or they don't want to prosecute, all that stuff. So it kind of leaves it open to they don't really care. So to make them kind of care, can they create some type of law to fine? To me, it's like littering, knowing that their cart is out there. Somebody stole them, but it's still there. That's their property. They don't care. Can they fine them or create something where, it's kind of, I'm not going to say force, but encourage, to, I don't know how to say it, but if a council member can find a way or something.
Sure, I can definitely take that back to the council member.
Maybe that would kind of help alleviate some of the pressure of more things being brought to each community or areas. So
Yes, I will definitely take that back. I can say that would be a very complicated piece of legislation. Maybe that would be more of a grounds for the state house or the Senate, but I can definitely take that back.
I like that dimension. I think the word you're looking for is accountability, because there seems to be no accountability. And the commercial activities seem to say, it's not my problem, but it kind of is. Because yeah. Thank you. Any other questions from members of the community? Seeing none, moving on. Thank you. Moving on to Board of Water Supply, Kelson. Yep, already in line. Come on down.
Good evening. My name is Kelson Lee with the Board of Water Supply. For the month of June, there were no main breaks to report. For the month of July, on July 6th, there was a main break at 911076 Kaunolu Street. And on the same day, July 6th, there was another main break at 911733 Kiko'o Street. For our general water announcements, the Board of Water Supply has a household questionnaire, and we're participating in a water access and affordability survey taking place in communities across the country. We encourage the public to fill out the questionnaire through Sunday, September 15th. It should take approximately 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Your input will assist the the BWS to implement programs that better help vulnerable residents, including our Kupuna. Responses are confidential. Copies of the questionnaire are available at the back table tonight at Satellite City Halls and at our website, www.boardofwatersupply.com. I have a response to a question from resident Tara Ruas regarding the Ever by Gentry leaky private water system. And so in May, we had an update that repairs are ongoing on the leaks, and there's been a decrease in the amount of water usage levels that we've seen. So BWS is still currently monitoring the situation, but we haven't seen it spike up to the millions of gallons a day recently. I can check on that. Okay, thank you. Any questions or concerns?
Questions from the board? Ms. Reyes-Oda?
Hi, Kelson. It's Julie. Hi.
Yes.
Does the Board of Water have a responsibility to also, in addition to providing water as a service, to us, have a responsibility to conserve or help preserve the water as a natural resource too? In the best of their ability.
Yes, as an organization, that's what our Board of Water Supply was formed to help better manage our resources, to control. There were major droughts before the board was formed in the 1900s, and that's where we were put together to close excessive wells that were being used and kind of just better manage the water resources for the public, I think. So we do have, that is part of our mission to help conserve and protect our water resources.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the board, either virtually or on the physical meeting space? Seeing none? Questions from the community?
Mahalo nui for that. I was going to ask you. So my two questions are, one, given the recent announcement that the plume has been moving into the Aiea well, the contamination, how does that affect us? And, with this continuous overdevelopment, what does that do to strain our sole water source, resource? And then two, with that HECO blackout and then the consequent, the subsequent request to conserve electricity. And then I know you all came on board too and said that affected the water, right? And so it happened in July 2024 and back in January 2024, the same unknown blackout and then subsequent conservation requests. So can you touch upon that as well? Because we're in a water and energy crisis. So those two questions. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara.
As a fellow utility within on Oahu, we really need to work together with each other, and to pump a lot of our water wells, we rely heavily on HECO power. We do have backups in case of emergency, but in general, if HECO asks, we will respond and try to support them as much as we can. So they needed to make sure they had enough energy, so we also asked for conservation just in case we do get to the point where we have a full blackout. We'll be prepared and more ready to provide to the community while HECO is taking care of what they need to do. For the plume, I'll double check on that. I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Kelson. We appreciate your comments tonight.
Thank you.
Drive safe. Moving on to Department of Education. Seeing none. Moving on to Governor Josh Green's representative, Mr. Arrowsmith. Not online. Moving on to Hawaii Department of Transportation quarterly report. Seeing none. Moving on to Senate District 19, Senator Henry Aquino.
Aloha, Chair, board members. My name is Nathaniel Say. I will be representing Senator Aquino this evening. I believe the office did send in the report sometime this afternoon. And on that, I would like to stand on that report. Thank you.
Any questions from members of the board? physically, virtually? Seeing none? Questions from members of the community? Seeing none, moving on to Senate District 20, Senator Kurt Favela.
Aloha, Chair and board members. I am Lavinia Totofi, a researcher under the Senate Minority Office, and I am present on behalf of Senator Kurt Favela for tonight's board meeting. My apologies for not attending in person though, but thank you for allowing me to speak virtually. For those of you online, you may find Senator Favela's August newsletter in the chat box. If you would like to receive his monthly newsletters, please contact the office at 808-586-6360. Otherwise, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take it back to him. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the board? None in the physical meeting room, any online? Seeing none, any from members of the community? Physical meeting room? No? Online? Seeing none? Moving on to Senate District 21, Senator Mike Gabbard.
Aloha, Chair, Board, and community members. My name is Leah. Here on behalf of Senator Gabbard. The Senator sends his best wishes to you and invites you to attend his August Listen Story Community Meeting on Saturday, August 17th, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge. You can also join via Zoom. Please email sendgabbard@capitol.hawaii.gov to RSVP. I'll also drop the link to his August newsletter in the chat, and feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. Mahalo.
Mahalo to you as well. Any questions for Senator Gabbard's office from members of the board? Seeing none in the physical meeting room, any online? Seeing none. Any from the community, either online or in the meeting room? Seeing none, moving on. Representative District 39, Representative Elijah Pierik. Seeing none, moving on to Representative District 40, Representative Rose Martinez. Seeing none, moving on to Representative District 41, Representative David Alcos III.
Thank you, Chair. Today marks the 1-year anniversary for Maui fire and the lives that we lost. What a tragic that we all have felt. And, I just want to take a moment of silence, maybe 10 seconds for today. We lost about 100-something lives out there, animals, dogs, businesses, houses, a big tragic out there. And there's maybe over 100 litigations pointing finger what went happen, whose fault is it? And, that's going to play out. But we got to remember that in order to rebuild Lahaina, we got to worry about what happened today, what we got to do tomorrow, and how we're going to fix the future out there. And if we do it with good hearts, with good intentions, that place is going to be beautiful and it's going to be a nice place. But if we start being ugly and fighting each other, it's not going to be pono and going to have bad spirits. So I say that we just join hands and work together and do what we can to continue building Lahaina. Our thoughts and prayers goes out to them. As for Haubush, we talked to the city and county with Roland had his meeting just a few weeks ago, and about what areas they're gonna clean. City and county said, I asked the question is, hey, what are you guys gonna do with the bushes growing into Haubush? It's high already. It's growing so much. The city and county said that they put a contract out. He awarded the contract, and a contractor is gonna be cleaning it out within a month or two. So just to let you know, is when you're getting into Haubush. Next question I asked city and county that day is, what about the park? I remember that you guys were supposed to be doing the water sprinklers and fixing it. They also said that they got this on the contract and should be on the contract in about a month or two, that they'll be changing the water sprinklers, and it's already in contract. So hopefully that is going to happen. But these are things that we've been working on, and
the Parks and Rec's been working and pushing on that. I'm not sure about the bathroom still yet. I know the plans and permitting is still moving forward. That's the Howbush area. Now Geiger Road and Kamkana. Gentry was looking at putting a stoplight. They were saying that they was gonna get one stoplight, and I bet so many months they was working on plans, permitting, and getting that going. Today I had received an email that they was putting only like a flashing light. So I want to make sure that Gentry or the community want what they want. If they want a stoplight or flashing light, which one is it going to be?
Chair, if I want a roundabout. That's what should be there. That would slow down. The road is long, it's straight. If you put a roundabout in there, it will slow drivers out.
But over what the community, when I was out there and listening to them, they wanted a stoplight. I'm just letting you know, I'm going to continue talking back with Gentry and seeing what can we do.
Thank you, Rep. Alcostas.
Homeowners insurance. I've been getting calls about homeowners insurance that's being a sky high, rising up 100% for the association. Some of them was 500%, 600%, 700% even I heard. You know, I think that this is outrageous and it's not just island-wide, it's nationwide what's happening. The House is putting a task force together and trying to see what we can do at the Capitol, and also holding the governor accountable with some things and trying to see how we can, see what we can work at home. And instead we got to follow with what the national level is. So I'm not sure how to handle the insurance stuff, but I believe we're trying to work on that. Right now, this is a good time for bills to be introduced, ideas. In January, we have to put in some of our bills.
Get it wrapped up, Rep.
In January, we have to put in our bills. And the bills I want to put in is not my bills, it's your guys' bills. Whether if I win, or John, or Ora, or Kari, whoever wins, but it's a good idea that if the community comes together and build instead of a resolution, put a bill. It's going to be stronger than a resolution. And also for the resolutions, also we have to introduce. We would love to work with you guys and support. And last one, and not only for the bills, but what you want to see in your school. We got to ask for money for our community. Right now, the principals are telling me what they want. But we're not the community or parents telling me what they want. Reach out to us guys and let me know what you guys want and what you guys want to see out there. That way I can put money in for our schools and our kids and our KKs. And, hopefully we can advocate. And that's why I'm here at this position to work hard for you guys. But thank you for you guys' time.
Thank you, Rep. Alcostas.
Any questions?
Any questions from Ms. Committee? Alex?
Hey, David, good to see you, and thanks for showing up. A lot of our reps didn't, so I really appreciate it. I think that the bills versus resolutions, I think we as a neighborhood board, and I won't speak for everyone, but me as a board member anyway, put together resolutions based on what we think is important. And hopefully if some of those are appealing to you or something, that then I'm not in the political game, so to speak, so I don't understand the bill and how that's more strong. I mean, I do, but if you reach out to me, I'm happy to support that. So I just wanted to say that. I did want to bring up the fire danger that you spoke about. And, a lot of the neighbors for me, I live down by about Puelo Beach Park and Eva Beach Road, and we have the whole old tsunami center behind us, which from our perspective, that's like a brush fire waiting to go up. And I'm just, you talk about how Bush, has anyone ever looked at that as a potential danger? And should we be? I don't know the answer. I'm just curious. My neighbors and I have spoken about that. It seems like that is something waiting to catch fire. And it sounds like you're kind of pushing down that line of like fire danger and that, and you brought up line, obviously. Is that something that you could look into for us, or?
I can definitely check into it, but physically, driving down a North Road, I see they cut all the bushes back about 10 feet in. There was machines that going around Iroquois, all in the back that's pushing out of, cutting down the bushes. Instead of being close to the road, they push it away in so that they get on clear path. You mentioned about Howbush. A lot of times the wind blowing out towards the ocean, not blowing back towards the beach. is it a concern area? I think not really, because there's a fire hydrant right there. And, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Rep. Appreciate it. Moving on. Oh, you got one, Rich? Sorry.
Two, how wish if can get another backstop for the softball, baseball. We took them down because it was all rusted years ago. Don't know if we can put one back up or whatever, being that we don't have the parks yet for all our kickies. If we can put up a backstop. Secondly, I talked about to the council member, but he said it might be alleged, maybe pass a bill for keeping the stores accountable for the carts that the homeless steal and take stuff. I mean, keep somebody accountable. They're saying that those carts are worth $500 each. Whatever we can do to help, the community, if they're stealing. Don't make it easy for everybody and hold somebody accountable for it. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. There is a backstop coming in on the new plan. I believe it's more towards the houses area. On that side, should have the backstop instead of towards the ocean side. It's across. They looking at putting a backstop. And we are soft on crime. I do want to see stronger laws being made to hold all kind of guys accountable.
Thank you, Rep. Appreciate it. And finally, Representative District 42, Representative Diamond Garcia, online or in the physical meeting room? Seeing none, okay. Moving on to committee reports. Last time we had 3 vacancies, Jeffrey reminded me, so we did not fill the committees. We do have about 9 minutes remaining. Is there any interest in establishing those committee chairs and co-chairs tonight?
I have a question. What is the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization Citizens Advisory? Could someone explain that a little bit to me?
John Rogers?
Sure. Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization is the heart of our transportation planning for the county of Oahu. So they have a monthly meeting. It's the community, the CAC, the community volunteers, and it's made up of all the neighborhood board folks of all the neighborhood boards that are members. Not every neighborhood board is a member, and then a bunch of other communities like AARP, transportation specialists, and then there's actually 3 or 4 different boards part of OMPO. There's a policy board made up of all the politicians and DOT and DTS, and they actually make the final decision on what the policies for the county of Honolulu is going to be for transportation in the future. That's what I talked about, the 2050 plan. And so that's what OMPO is. Right now I'm listed, but we need other people on the list to help us, and the chair can make that happen so that if I can't make it, then someone else can make it. Because the meetings, if you miss 3 meetings in a year, you're off, and you gotta go through a whole position again. I'm losing my words. Thanks.
And with
Too
that
late at
said,
night.
and with that said, I think all the other ones are pretty much self-explanatory. So we'd like to move forward, and to John's point, have at least 2 people on each committee, maybe more. Thank you, Mitch. We'll start with Parks Committee. Volunteers for Park.
I'd like to volunteer myself and John Rogers to be co-chairs on that. I don't know if any.
Do you accept that co-chair nomination, John? Okay. Any others want to be on that committee? Okay. Education. I would like to chair that committee. If anyone wants to co-chair with me, I welcome. No? Say none? Okay. Transportation.
I would like to co-chair with Alex Gauss.
Okay.
Alexander Gauss.
Okay.
Anyone else?
OMPO.
I'm happy to continue on going to those meetings. It's because it's kind of the middle of the day, 2:30. The meetings are 2:30, second Tuesday, I think it was. We didn't have a meeting this month because it got canceled. But anyway, we need someone else. I need someone else
Susan,
that wants
you
to do
expressed
that.
a question? I think you volunteered yourself. Use the microphone, please.
Sorry, I'm also thinking about climate change.
Well, you could do them both. Co-chair for,
So the commitment is, what is it? Once the Tuesday at 2.
So you don't have to attend when I didn't.
Oh,
That would be
okay.
the way. And so, and there are going to be some times because I'm a traveler. So, but anyway, it's Tuesday, second Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to have to get back to you, Susan. Exactly. It's Tuesday, I think. Second Tuesday at 2:30 every month.
And is it live or can I attend
You
Zoom?
can go live downtown or it's virtual.
Okay. Oh,
So
okay,
folks go
I'll do-
virtually.
yay, thank you, Suzanne. Okay,
You have to send her name to the AMPO. I'll give you the email addresses.
okay. Public safety, community outreach, homeless outreach. Anyone? Okay, we'll open it up next time. Economic development, I'd like to chair that one. I welcome any co-chair. Seeing none. Moving on to climate change.
That's me, Susan.
Right, Susan, very engaged board member. Hawaiian Affairs.
Amy,
That's Miss Reyes-Oda.
potentially him.
Military Affairs.
Okay, and me too.
Military, Affairs, okay. So I'd like to be on that
Military.
committee along with Mike Plowman and Miss Reyes-Oda. Okay.
I think you missed it. He's gonna be on the Hawaiian one.
Oh, who is? Alex? Okay. Alex is going to co-chair Hawaiian with Julie. Okay, and that is it. So announcements, next regular meeting scheduled for Thursday, September 12th at 7 p.m. virtually via WebEx and in person right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Regular board meetings are broadcast every first Sunday at 6 p.m. and every second and fourth Friday at 10 a.m. on Olelo Digital Channel 49. This meeting is adjourned at approximately 9:55.